Hi guys, okay, so this video was very specific and it's really reaching out to a very, very specific audience. And this is for parents, mums or dads, or I guess maybe the other relatives, whoever's the carer of children that has to talk to their children about death, illness, and the potential of the loss of a loved one. And this is based on my own experience, what I have done so far, and I thought if I get it out, it may be useful to other people and you might find some comfort and understanding and not feeling like you are alone in this. My husband was diagnosed with grade 4 brain cancer 3 years ago. We've been through the rounds of things. My children are 6 and 4 currently, so they've known this for most of their lives, really, that they can remember. Thankfully, for the majority of the time, he's been really well, so we've been very lucky in that hospital conversations haven't had to be massive until really last year in 2016 August. He had to have brain surgery for the second time, and they were aware of what was happening. Again, thankfully, he was out 3 days later. He has a strength that is unbelievable, and he was able to, be himself. Because it's brain, it's always the worry that you don't know who's coming back after that. But he was great, and he was himself straight away, a little bit tired, and from the girl's point of view, he had a bandage on his head and then it came off. But we did have conversations then, and we have had to have some subsequent conversations recently after having a period again of fairly calm existence, normal. He started to have a few headaches again, and after some investigation they found that the tumour has grown, and it has now grown to a stage where it's affecting his memory, his personality to an extent, and some of the things that he's saying, just it's not right. It's almost like having somebody with early onset dementia, which is quite frightening, very frightening at times, because I now know, I don't know, sorry, what I will wake up with, or what he will say. Thankfully at this stage it's certainly not any extremes. It's as, it could be as simple as him thinking he's eating a sandwich when he hasn't. It's been fairly basic, and thankfully he has at this point been quite jovial about it. I was worried about often there can be an aggression with brain cancers and things like that, or a defensiveness, and with him being such a strong character anyway, we were concerned that that might be the case, and he has got meds if that needs to be calmed, but he's been really good. But because of this, my children are, and although we have a very good family around us and a massive support network of people that can take the girls, and obviously they've been around it. So this is what I've done so far. I'll try and document this because I think at some point it will make some sense, and at least I hope it will. And if it's not for somebody out there, then maybe for the girls as they get older. So we had an initial conversation when he came home, because it was the first time I was going to have the girls and my husband newly out of hospital, not quite from a seizure as well, so he was not quite right, in the same house, and I wanted to make sure that they were prepared, because I respect my children, and that they knew that there may be some things that were weird. So we talked, and I said, listen girls, this is really serious. They had seen him have a seizure the week before, though not a grand mal type seizure, so it wasn't too scary for them, but they'd known he'd gone to hospital. So I based it on that conversation. They knew he'd been in hospital, and I just said, look, now Daddy's out, his brain, I said, imagine, I said, your brain, that's the thing that's in charge, we know that. And I said, if you poked your finger in your brain, your leg could stick up, or I said something could happen, and we don't really know what happens when we fool around with our brains. And I said, the part of daddy's brain that's being pushed, like someone's pressing on it, and they understand that there's a lump, a tumour. I said, so the tumour is pushing on a certain area. And the area that it's pushing on with daddy is his personality, his judgment, and his memory. And I said, so, and I explained judgment as in, I said, we always have a choice, and the judgment is, should I do it, shouldn't I do it? And I said, so it could be as simple as, you know, do I walk down the stairs normally on my feet, or do I go head first? And I said, obviously, if you've got good judgment, you walk normally and sensibly. If your judgment's confused, you might make the wrong decision and go upside down. And you know, the girls find that lighthearted and understood what I meant. I also said that daddy might say some funny things that don't quite make sense, but he's not aware that he's saying those things. So I said, look, I said, I don't know what's going to happen, and it's all really new. I said, obviously, like, we have to, you know, different things will happen all the time, and we just need to be on the same team. So I said, right, let's come up with a code word. So if mummy says the code word, or you say the code word to me, we both know that it's serious. We need to switch our minds on. And it's probably, if I say it, that either daddy's going to have a seizure, I'm not sure about how he's behaving, and I might need to get some help, or I just need you to be really calm and listen to what I'm saying. So they decided the code word would be girl code, because we're all the girls, you know, so girl code is the code word. And if I'm to say girl code, they know that they have to switch on, listen to me, and I might need their help. They might need to get an ambulance, they might need to get a neighbour, you know, whatever. It just means switch on. And then we had a further conversation the next evening. He said a couple of things that were a little bit not quite right. He thought he'd been somewhere when he hadn't, and my daughter came in and said, is Dad saying the wrong thing? And she was saying, you're saying the wrong thing, Dad. And I spoke to her and I said, look, I said, sometimes Dad is going to say the wrong things, and the best thing is to come and tell me, but just, he doesn't know he's saying the wrong thing, so don't challenge him on it, because it must be very, very confusing for him. And so that's what she did, and I think she felt she may have got it wrong at first, because she did challenge him. And I said, listen, I said, we don't know, like, this is so new. I said, you haven't got it wrong. I said, this is just my idea on it. You know, I think maybe we should just let him believe that that's what's happened. It doesn't really matter. I said, you did good for telling me. And I said, you know, this is new to both of us, and we're just learning, aren't we? And I sort of made it so that we're all in this together, the three of us, and supporting their daddy. And now I've kept the conversations open, so they ask me questions, and the questions have been things like, why daddy he doesn't deserve it, and I've said nobody deserves it, and of course he doesn't, and I said it's okay to be cross, it's okay to be sad, because we all are, and we wish that we could make it not happen, but I'm very much about the realities as well, and so I will say to them, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing we can do, and I can't take this away from you. And all we have is now. And so we have to look at the good things, and we have to look at the positives. And right now, Daddy's okay most of the time, and I focus on the good points. I also focus on the support that we have outside, and I say, you know, we have such amazing people around us. I've also been aware that if my daughters need to be with somebody else, it will be family. But if they needed to be, if they were with their nan or their grandmas or their aunties, I want them to know that if they need me, then I can be on the phone if I can't be there personally, and they don't have to speak to me in front of other people. So I said to them, you know, you can speak to me, and you just have to ask the person you're with, and they can just say, I want to speak to Mummy privately, and they will, that's fine. So that's also been a conversation. I've been aware that my 4-year-old is 4, and it might just feel confusing, and it will feel confusing, but that she won't fully understand what's being said in my explanations, but she will just have a bad feeling. And so we talk a lot about feelings, and I'll say, you know, in just lots more cuddles, and I'll say it's okay to ask me any questions, even if it's a silly one, you think it's silly. The school have been very supportive. They have 2 books from the Brain Tumour Charity. One is Nurse Ted, and the other is Daddy Teapot's Got a Poorly Lid, and they give good explanations. I think Nurse Ted is probably better in for an older age group. The teapot one is maybe for a younger. But they'll get those books out and ask questions about that. They sometimes ask about the treatment that he's having, so I will explain it. I will explain it in the basic form of what the tablets are doing. So I will say that one's to try and stop Daddy having seizures, that one's to try and do this, and I will explain it because I give them respect. They haven't outwardly asked if he will die. They kind of, Brooke has a while ago, actually that's not strictly true, she has a while ago, she hasn't brought it up this time, and I've been completely honest and I've said there is a chance, and straight away I just bring it back to all we have is now, and none of us know, and you know, we love Daddy and we hate that he's going through this, but if we fight it and we sort of focus on that, then we upset ourselves when there's nothing we can do. And I talk to them a lot about letting go of that, but never ever about that their feelings are to be diminished or dry your eyes or anything like that. God no, it's always about you know, just love and focusing on now and understanding the pain that they must feel and the confusion, and you know, I'm also preparing them for what's going to happen next, because as much as I'm very, you know, numb about this right now, there is a certain eventuality with this, and it's, you know, I find it even hard to say, but it, you know, because I always want, there's always that hope that, you know, we can see where this is going, and so I want to prepare them and give them the strength to understand, and we talk about life cycles, and we talk about you know, just focusing on the right now. That every night we do we have a little glass jar that we put notes in, things that we love about the day, and we put them in there, and we're going to look at that in a year, and we always focus on those good things and the right now, and yeah, so that's where I'm at right now, and I will update on how I'm explaining things. I don't believe in God, so if you believe in God, you can adapt that to your thinking. That doesn't work for me personally, because I just find, I mean, I don't believe in God, so that doesn't work for me at all, but I just find that sometimes it's confusing for children, because it feels like they could see their, I've heard parents of children who do believe in God who've told them about heaven, and they've said they'd like to die and be with their parents, and that's just horrendous. I know this is not about judgment. Everyone has their own beliefs, and what works for you, you do that. You do what works for you and your children. But yeah, that doesn't work for me. So as a person that's a non-believer of anything, I believe in love, and I believe in energies, and I believe that people make their mark on the world when they're alive, and so we talk a lot about that. And Brooke, my oldest, will say, no matter what happens, Daddy will always love us, won't he? And I'm like, that never ends. That's forever. And they're always in our hearts, and their opinions and their thoughts are with us, and they will continue to be, and we focus on that. So that's my thoughts, guys. I hope that is useful to you, and I send you so much love if you are going through anything similar, you know, to what we are. It's not easy, and it's a constantly movable thing. So I send you massive love and strength, and please message me if you need any thought, you know, you have any thoughts or advice or anything, and I'll speak to you all soon.